Hi everyone, Cindy here with Create Your Own Luck in Love. Hope you guys are doing awesome today. Happy Monday. It is raining literally cats and dogs out here in Southern California. I think we're about done with our drought. So, at any rate, I hope you guys are really getting a chance to dive in and listen to the the replays while they're still up. We only have one more day left, which is tomorrow, to access those, and they will be going away. So, I feel really called today to talk about something that is really important. And anybody that's on here, just give me a thumbs up or hearts or whatever. Feel free just to post your questions below. And there are things that can keep us blocked from really bringing in love or the type of loving partnership that we want. So there's a couple things that can there are several things that can block us, but I'm going to talk to you about a few things, right? So what can keep us blocked is really not believing that it's really possible for us to have the kind of relationship that we dream of, that's on our hearts. And the other thing that can block us from really bringing in the type of partnership or having the loving partnership that one desires is by, not even creating space to open up to the possibility, because there's limiting thoughts and beliefs that are going on, like love is hard. Why should it be me that gets to be in the loving relationship? Maybe it's not for me. Maybe I won't bring in my happily ever after. Or it can be a variety of other things. And some of this can be stemmed through childhood. It can also be stemmed through life and life experience and how we deal with that. Sometimes it's easier just to stuff it, avoid it, or not want to go out there and meet people and date because it feels scary and hard, and it feels like that it just may not really work. And the thing is that this area of your life, you've got to be brave, right? And in anything we do, we're taking chances. Any job, any career, anything that you do, and I know many of you ladies are successful and have a lot of amazing things going on, and yet you might feel a little lost in the sense of why am I not having the kind of relationships that I want? And a lot of times it's our subconscious which also brings us down. I call that the ego. And that ego can tell us, oh, you need to lose 20 pounds, or you need to do this, or you're not lovable, you're too old, you're too, whatever, right? And, the thing to remember is that ego keeps anyone in staying stuck in a really comfortable, cozy place, because that's where it feels safe. So that's why these thoughts will come up. And it's easy to manage those thoughts if you know what it is. Because when the thought comes in of, well, what if I'm not what if I'm not lovable? What if I don't, what if I set boundaries and this relationship doesn't work out and then I've got to go out there again? Hey, Sarah, how are you? All of these things can keep us stuck and playing small. And, I can tell you guys, I'll just be very, very transparent with you. As you guys know, I just am who I am. And, I almost literally had a panic attack the other night. And part of it is because I'm up leveling. There's a lot of things shifting, and it's good. But I caught the thought. So the thought was, oh my God, what am I going to do if maybe I can't, grow my company the way that I want to. Like it was a fleeting thought. And I thought, oh my gosh, I've been doing this for a while, quite some time. I've had my company for approximately 5 years, but I've been in this field for the last 15 years, in and out. I've done other things, but I've been doing this for a long time, and I thought, well, what brings up those thoughts? But part of that comes up, and I'm sharing this with you because it relates in any area of our life. So when you start to stretch, when you start to grow, when things start to shift a bit, hey, Penelope, good to see you. When things start to shift, it feels uncomfortable. So that fear comes in. And I can catch that really quickly. And I literally was like, well, this is interesting that it's coming up. And part of that is because it's because there's some growing happening and there's growing pains in the process. And it's like that in any relationship. Hear me out. In any relationship, there are growing pains. There are certain levels that happen. And I know that all of you guys are on here because you don't want to play small. You don't want to play small in love. You don't want to play small in your life. And you really want to have and create the abundance that you desire and frankly deserve it. And, it's effort, it's work, but do you see how it all comes together? And the thing is here's what I did. I allowed myself to feel that in the moment. I literally hugged those feelings out and said, thanks for showing up. I'll see you later. I'm good. And you don't belong here. So the more that you exercise and are present with yourself and those practices, let me tell you, that's when, it's like manifestation comes. When you're open to the possibilities, it's like you all of a sudden walk into Starbucks and you meet an amazing, handsome stranger, or you look at your relationship and you decide, gosh, I don't know that this person is aligned with me. And you have some of the challenging conversations like, here's where I'm headed. What about you? Or you've allowed someone to treat you poorly. And what are the steps to turning that around? Well, part of that is just loving and honoring yourself and setting healthy boundaries and communicating, right? But you guys, really, there's a lot of things that can block us from abundance, and this goes for all areas. But I'm speaking into your love life because that's what I do. But it's all interconnected, right? It's been on my heart. I hear, a lot of people. I hear people talk about financial problems, and I hear it. I get it. I totally understand. I've been there more times than I can count. And part of that is related to our value, where we're valuing ourselves at that time. Now, I get it. Things happen, life, right? And I think that, you can absolutely have all the abundance that you want. You can have the abundant relationship. You can have an abundant bank account, frankly. And part of that is, what are you willing to give up in order to get there? I don't know if any of you guys are hearing me or you're out there. If you have questions, please post them. I think one book that is a life changer that I would recommend each and every one of you getting, and this is kind of a spiritually based, more, I would say she's Christian, I think more of a faith-based book, but it doesn't matter. You can put spirit, higher power, if that's not your jam, I get it. But read the book, The 4 Spiritual Laws of Abundance. 4 spiritual laws of success or abundance. Her name, I can get you guys the book for sure. I will take a picture of it and post it if it would help you. It really does talk about this piece on really creating abundance and trusting in God. It's kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to get a little biblical on you, but this just called to me to speak about this is, in the Bible, there's a story where Jesus has to feed I think it's 5,000 people, and I could be wrong, but it's in the thousands. He only has 3 loaves of bread, a few barrels of drinks, and nothing, not much. He's got to feed 5,000 people. And he took a breath and he looked up and he prayed and he surrendered and he said, Lord, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I trust and have faith that you'll provide the food to feed these people in need. And if any of you guys know the story, there was more fish and more bread that it kept coming and drink and whatever. And as if by a miracle, because he didn't have it. And what I'm telling you guys is that, from this angle, miracles can happen. Having faith, I don't know how to do it. I know, God, you're presenting things to me. How can I do this? Right? How can I create what I want in my life in all areas? It's also letting go of control. And I hope this is helpful. I'm just checking in with you guys. And, one of the things that I see a lot with women, and I've been here myself, it's part of the reason why I've written the book in many respects. But thanks, Sarah. I know. I was like, it's been a while since I've read that story, but it just really resonates, right? That biblical story. But, one of the things that we do, and men do this too, by the way, and I see this a lot with women too, is they try to control. They try to control the outcome. They try to control relationship, and they'll do things to try to control it. And it will then feel out of control, right? Because you actually have less control by trying to control something. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but because when a person feels like they're being controlled, it's a fight or flight thing. Especially a man, women too, is if so there's fight or flight happening, right? So if someone feels like, I'm being controlled, they feel it, and they don't feel as inspired to want to show up in dating and partnership. However, if it's an inspired action and you know your value and you're setting boundaries, oh my goodness, you are really creating you're inviting in that abundance that I was talking about. So, and I don't know, it's just funny. I was literally thinking earlier that one of the biggest problems is control, and trying to, without really communicating, trying to get someone to do something that you want them to do. And, ladies, we gotta let go of that with any human, whether it be our friends or family or whomever in our life. It's, inspiring them to show up as their best self to you, and you're inspired to show up as your best self to them, right? And together, it's like I was talking about with Charles on our on our training the other day. It's like the you, the me, and the we, and we come together. And what are you? Who are you? What are you willing to accept? And what are you accepting? What are you showing up as? And I would just encourage you guys to really look at this and look at how interconnected everything is in your life. And what do you want? What do you choose to do? What do you choose to do differently? Right? So post below if you have questions, comments, anything else, you guys. I hope this was helpful today. I know that I went a little bit of a different direction, but I just felt called to talk about this. Just know that everything in our life is interconnected, and it can change in like a New York minute, I promise. And after tomorrow, I will start with my 7 days of posting and Facebook Lives about some of the subjects that have been expressed in our conversations. So again, I am sending you guys love, sending light. Thanks for all the hearts and the thumbs up. And I will post a picture of that book. It's either the 4 Spiritual Laws of Success or the 4 Spiritual Laws of Abundance. And I'm going to do that right now so that you guys have it. And I hope you guys are making the rest of today, this evening, incredible. I know I am. And I am just so grateful for each and every one of you. And again, post below if you have questions, comments, anything. I want to hear from you. You know that I'll answer, like it, and give you support in the way that you need. Okay? Sending lots of love. Mwah. Bye, everyone.